Fasten your chin strap and put your pads on. Get a grip on the bat, here comes a fastball. We ain't going one and done, we're here to last long. This the top of the standards, get ready to blast off. Alright, let's do this. Bang! Bang! Every Sunday afternoon, big sports fanatics coming out your speakers like a piston running with magic. Game time status good to go is automatic. Ready for the blowouts and the instant classics. Calling all the teachers, all the fathers and the mothers. Calling all the kids, all the sisters and the brothers. Dynamic high schoolers in the game like no other preseason. Game 7s, hey, y'all know we got it covered. From the finals to the Super Bowl to the World Series to the Stanley Cup final. Over here we spit it clearly. Andrew Hale and Jotham Israel coming with the hottest topics. Hey, you know what's up with sports. People wanting it, we got it. Yeah, get in the game. It's the top of the standards, man. Get in the game. It's the top of the standards. Yo, get in the game. It's the top of the standards, man. Get in the game. It's the top of the standards. Come on. Get in the game. It's the top of the standards, man. Get in the game. It's the top of the standards. Yo, get in the game. It's the top of the standards, man. Get in the game. It's the top of the standards. Come on.
Yeah, top of the standards. That's what it's about, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, season 2 is here, baby. Yes, Jotham Israel and Andrew Hale, we're back and better than ever. Yes, we got a ton of sports to talk about, as always. And yes, I can rap. I produced the song, I wrote the lyrics, and I rapped it. That is my voice. Yes, you guys better believe it. But before we get started,
we wanted to let you know that Top of the Standings is brought to you by Anchor. Anchor is a completely free and easy-to-use platform for podcasting. A computer or even a mobile device with a functional internal or external microphone is all you need to start recording your podcast with Anchor. When you do finish recording your podcast audio, you can simply edit it and upload it to the biggest podcasting platforms like iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and more. 4 months and 16 episodes of Top of the Standings is walking proof of Anchor's usefulness. If you don't know how to start a podcast, Anchor is the perfect place to start. For more information, go to anchor.fm on the web or download the Anchor app on your mobile device.
Well, Bowl Mania wasn't as frantic as I thought it was going to be, but there were still a lot of good moments.
Yeah, and also some crazy moments. I didn't expect, Tulsa and Mississippi State to turn into an all-out WWE Royal Rumble.
Oh, yeah.
Dudes kicking, dudes punching, coaches getting in on the action, dude. People taking pictures in the stands. Oh my gosh, that was crazy. I was watching that live. I was like, oh my gosh, why? It was a good game. It was your classic ideal football game. It got muddy. There was rain. It was a pretty good game for the most part. And then it all of a sudden turned into a WWE Royal Rumble. I don't know what happened, but that was crazy.
Yeah, they were showing. I was watching highlights of Ball State and San Jose State, which was one of the many, blowouts. Oh my goodness! So they were showing the highlights of that game, and then they said we interrupt these highlights to bring you some live going on after the Tulsa, Mississippi. I'm like, whoa! I see Shoryukens and Hoya kicking up like, whoa! Oh my goodness! Players and coaches just flying. I'm just seeing maroon and white just flashed through my eyes. I thought I was looking at bootleg Texas A&M, but I was not. I'm just like, what beef do these two schools have with each other? It must have been some real smoke and beef going on in that game for that to happen like that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was insane. That was definitely the most notable craziness that I saw during Bowl Mania. But I do want to mention, we were talking about how the committee should expand it, but the only unfortunate and kind of, thing that people against expansion can say is that every single undefeated team going into Bowl Mania lost. So
except for Ohio State. But
yeah.
We'll exclude them.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even count their season as undefeated because it's like they played like so little games compared to teams like Coastal Carolina and San Jose State. I mean, come on, everyone knows Ohio State is for the most part going to be in and year out, but teams like Cincinnati and Coastal Carolina. 2 tough losses as well, but that's just one argument I saw. People against expansion are like, this is why there was no expansion, and we keep the same 4 almost every year. I don't know. I still want expansion. I still want to see teams like Cincinnati in there.
Yeah, it wasn't like those teams were absolutely blown out. Coastal Carolina took Liberty to overtime. Cincinnati, I mean, they were up by 11 in the fourth quarter, man. They were up. They were winning, and then they just blew it because, well, I don't know. And then, I mean, I guess the same thing goes for. Well, I won't count North Carolina in this discussion, but you know, they might have needed that win in the future because it's going to be like, oh, Clemson in the ACC. It's basically, we all know, same three teams from the same three conferences plus one other team, random pick. But yeah, dude, I just it was. I mean, there were a lot of games canceled, but for the games that were played, for the most part, they were blowouts. But I will say this. I gotta applaud the Big Ten. The Big Ten had a pretty good bowl season. Outside of Indiana getting upset by Ole Miss, which I called, by the way.
You didn't.
If the Big Ten had a pretty good bowl season. I mean, that was really good. More unexpected than I thought.
When I saw that graphic that they pulled up and the Big Ten was undefeated, obviously, until Indiana, I was surprised. I was like, wow. I was impressed as well. But like teams like the SEC and, you know, the ACC, I mean, everything, even the MAC were undefeated for a little bit, but I don't know. I was really surprised by the Big Ten success. I know I picked Northwestern, but even Ohio State, dude, I was surprised. I mean, hey, our teams are in the Big Ten, so, I mean, go Big Ten.
Yeah. Although, look, can we just get Notre Dame, Alabama out the way? We probably knew all that crap was going to happen. We just knew that crap was going to happen. As soon as Najee Harris hurdled over that man, and as soon as Notre Dame let them go 97 yards in 5 plays, that's something that I should say for the outro. Bro, I turned the game off, bro. I did not watch another second of that game after Mac Jones threw that lob, that absolute dot from heaven for a 14-0 lead. I was done watching that game, bro.
Yeah, I just want to say, we haven't mentioned Devontae Smith's name almost, I don't think, once before on the show, and that's kind of crazy because, I mean, it seems like his kind of, I'm gonna say Heisman season because I think he's gonna win. I mean, where did this come from? Literally, it seemed like in the past 3 weeks he has been the front runner for the Heisman. It's crazy. I mean, I had heard his name before, but seeing him play like that against Notre Dame, oh my gosh, he's good. Hey Lions, if you're on the clock and you're still there, please take that man. Nonetheless, he's a good player. Again, I feel like his potential Heisman season came out of it came out of nowhere. It was it just all of a sudden this dude is balling, and that's been his entire season. So I just want to get his name and say his name on top of the standings because he definitely deserves it.
Oh yeah, he's definitely worthy of it. I don't know how the heck we never said his name. I mean, maybe it's because he's overshadowed by Najee Harris and Mac Jones.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, oh my gosh, that is a deadly offensive trio. Oh my gosh, I know people in the SEC are going to be glad when they graduate.
Yeah, and I mean, they still have Jadon Waddle. I mean, who knows? Watch him play. They were talking about it during the game. They were like, he may have a chance to come back and play in the championship game. I don't know. But that offense is, I mean, it's one of the best I've ever seen. I'm going to be honest with you. It's insane how good they are. It really is. Very, very little flaws on that offense. Defense, different story, but still, that offense, I think Ohio State's going to have a very tough time.
That's got to be the best offense Nick Saban's ever had at Alabama, right? Because usually he's all about, usually he has really good defenses, but he has offense? Oh, gosh. That initially I thought that is a nightmare. That is an absolute nightmare. But I mean, the defense can be a little bit sus at times. I mean, they let Notre Dame score 14 points, which is very, very high considering the expectations. That's sad to say, man. And even though the score was just 31-14, it didn't feel like 31-14. It didn't feel like Notre Dame was going to win that game at all. no feeling whatsoever.
Yeah, there was no chance. I think when the committee announced Notre Dame and as the number 4, everyone was like, yeah, it's over. It's over.
Yeah, I was just like, and in my opinion, I think we're looking at Texas A&M like maybe they could have fared better because I mean North Carolina has a really good offense like Alabama, just on a much microscopic level.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, really tough to compare teams like that. I mean, who knows? Maybe they could have put up a better fight against Alabama, but I don't know. Alabama, their offense. I'm telling you, I think they have a chance to blow out any team they face just due to their offense. It's so impressive.
Yeah, dude, but I mean, we're set up for an Alabama Ohio State national championship, something that you didn't want. We'll predict that next week, the day before the national championship. But man, I will say this: it's probably not going to be the prettiest national championship to watch for you.
No, I mean, 2 teams that I don't like. Come on, Clemson. Come on. You could have. Come on. None. I mean, I guess it's all right. I gonna a little foreshadowing. I think I am pulling for an elephant. Who knows?
I'm actually 50-50. I know. I mean, this is kind of what I wanted. I just wanted a national championship where, there's 2 teams that are on the same level on my, tier list of teams and just watch a really good football game. I just want a really close, instant classic finish at this point because at this point, I just figured that the teams that I want to get in, I don't think they're. It's just like it's going to take a miracle at this point to knock them off.
You're right. You're definitely right.
Yeah, it's sad, but I mean, I did predict more bowl games right, but man, you killed the New Year's Six. I mean, whoa.
Yeah. Other than that, before I went bold, and I'm okay with that. All the ones that should have been kind of easy, I did not do well. But the more tricky ones and the more up in the air ones, I did better. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with getting the bad ones wrong and the good ones right. That's what I'm fine with. I do want to talk about last night's Texas A&M and North Carolina matchup because Devon H.A., that dude, out of nowhere, literally, until the fourth quarter, that Texas A&M offense just exploded and the game was over. It escalated very quickly. And Devon H.A., the freshman, literally, he had some very impressive runs, that 75-yarder, and then he was so elusive. He was breaking tackles, and for a freshman, I think he's going to be good in the future.
Yeah, I was really salty because Texas A&M was tug-of-warring that game away from North Carolina. And I'm just like, yo, come on, man. I mean, Buddy did that 76-yard run just hit different. It was just like,
it was electric. That was one of the first plays all year that had that energy. The crowd, the announcers, that was an electric play.
Wow. And then I really want to congratulate Iowa State on their season, man. They really, represented the 10 very well. And they won the Fiesta Bowl, PlayStation Fiesta Bowl, I should say. And they did it in pretty much dominant fashion, too. So I like it. I want to see Iowa State win the Big 12 in the future. I want to see them in the CFP. I want to see it. It's got to happen, bro.
It's kind of crazy because I know when the CFP was created, they did not expect teams like Iowa State to even be close to making it. Now look at them right now. That's impressive. I mean, like you said, I just love those teams, those Cinderella teams that come out of absolutely nowhere and prove everyone wrong, and that's exactly what Iowa State did. Congrats to them on their very, very impressive season.
Yeah, and last thing I want to touch on about this college football. Bro, Dabo Swinney has got to be sick right now. This is as terrible as it gets. Calling out a team that you've beaten, that you've had your number. Clemson has had Ohio State's number forever. Ohio State has never beaten Clemson, ever. And this was the one time where you go out feeling yourself a little bit too much and they just absolutely beat the brakes off you. It wasn't even close. It wasn't like they needed a miracle finish like Clemson did last year. It was absolute annihilation by Ohio State.
I don't know how that happened, dude. I was like, how is Clemson really struggling this much? And I just want to say, targeting calls, I think those are ridiculous. I mean, sure, it was the second straight year that the Clemson has had a player go out for targeting, and it's terrible. I mean, I'm all for the targeting rule. I mean, you got to keep it safe, but I don't think players, kids especially, who aren't even getting paid, I don't think they should get kicked out. I think they should be able to stay in the game like the NFL, because when you get kicked out, not like your senior season, and your last game, and you get kicked out for targeting, that's rough.
You know what, Merrill? That was the first time I had ever seen targeting that wasn't contact to the head. Absolutely no contact to the head, nowhere near. I honestly had no idea that all you had to do was lead with the literal crown of your helmet to any point of somebody's body, and I'm just like, what are we supposed to do at this point? I mean, I can't. I mean, that was a hit stick. That was a big hit. Yeah. But I had no idea it was illegal. I thought Justin Fields just got cleanly laid out. But
yeah, like I'm saying, especially on a hit like that, I know in no way should you get ejected. Yes, it was, I guess, by the rule books technically targeting, but like it wasn't like a helmet to helmet, like very like terrible hit. Like it was to the body, and I don't know how Justin Fields stayed in after that. His body literally contorted. That was crazy. I just don't think he should have gotten ejected.
He threw 6 touchdowns, and you know what? This was poetic justice for Ohio State. I mean, look at how this game went. Justin Fields threw an interception for his last pass last year. Trevor Lawrence did the same thing this year. James Skalski got ejected for the second game in a row at the same stadium for the second year in a row. Clemson obviously got the brakes beat off of them in the orange britches. And the thing about it is that it took a targeting call that to turn the whole game. Well, I won't say turn the whole game around, because Ohio State was still winning when the targeting was called. But clearly, you saw who was going to win that game after the targeting call. Because after that, Justin Fields, very next play he comes in, touchdown. And you just felt like this game was going to be over. I mean, they were up 21 and a half. It was just like, oh boy.
I mean, I guess you can say that Clemson really doesn't have as many offensive threats as they did last year and the years prior. But, I mean, you still got players like Etienne, who came back for a senior season and is still a very productive player, who I think is going to get drafted pretty high. Nonetheless, I was kind of disappointed in Clemson's performance. I'm sure you wanted a close game, but that was tough to watch. I was just really overall surprised as to how that went.
Yeah, and I did say Nolan Turner being out for the first half, maybe Justin Fields can do something. Well, yeah, he did a lot. He did a lot. I can't believe I was right about that. I mean, no James Skalski and no Nolan Turner for that defense is like backbone, backbreaker. Like you're so vulnerable, and you just they had to do better. They had to do better with these targeting calls, because I don't know. I mean, as a defense, I don't know what you can do, but it's whatever. I mean, if you get called for targeting the national championship, you can't sit out the first half of the first game next season. So I expect all the Scarlets and the Reds to, leave it all out on the field in Miami.
Yeah, I'm hoping for a very, I wouldn't be mad at an Alabama blowout. I'm just gonna say that.
Oh boy, I will say this: if it's the other way around, I'm gonna get an earful. I'm gonna get an earful from who.
Yeah, I mean, I if that happens, dude, I don't know what college football is. I don't.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see, man. At this point, we'll have to wait and see. Okay, let's talk NFL playoffs. So we are in week 17, and well, it's hectic. It's hectic too. I'm shook. I am shook.
I mean, this is one of the first times that I've seen so many teams fighting to get into the playoffs on the last day of the season. And you know what? I love it. And I have a question for you. What is your ideal wish list for teams getting into the playoffs today? What teams do you want to see in there?
Oh my gosh. Let me see. I want to see Arizona and Chicago make it in the same time at the same time. I don't want to see the Rams in the playoffs. I really do not. I hope, and the only way that's going to happen is if the Cardinals beat the Rams, which shouldn't be too hard, and then if the Bears, Lord behold, they beat the Packers. Although without David Bakhtiari, that could be a tad bit easier, but Chuck Pagano needs to send pressure. So yeah, I want the Bears and the Cardinals to make it as wild cards, and then I want New Orleans to get home field. Okay, I want Packers to get the 3 seed because look, if Seattle, Green Bay, and New Orleans all finish with the same record, New Orleans number 1, Seattle number 2, Green Bay number 3, perfect. We don't have to go through Lambeau in the NFC. Now for the AFC, I want Baltimore in. Baltimore, I think the Ravens are just too good of a team. I mean, it wasn't like they were a whole letdown and the whole season and they weren't and they were healthy and they were just a bust, an overrated team, a letdown and stuff like that. No, they're healthier now and they have their squad ready. So I really want to see the Ravens in, but guess who? Cincinnati Bengals right there to try to yeet them out of the playoffs again. And they've done it twice before. They've done it twice before, especially, Tyler Boyd is a familiar name, 4th and 12 is a familiar down in the distance for those Ravens fans. And you know what? I bet you so those broadcasters are going to be talking about that because the Ravens and the Bengals have history like that. Now they probably don't hate each other like, they do with the Steelers or the Browns, but you know what? The Bengals are always there to ruin the Ravens' playoff hopes. And you know what? We said that there's no way Joe Flacco is going to lose to a 6-9 Marvin Lewis-led Bengals team to not make it the playoffs. Well, guess what? Buffalo got the spot because of that. And you know what? Indianapolis is going to be relying on the same thing. Maybe Cleveland. And those are the other 2 teams I want to see make the playoffs. I wouldn't mind the Dolphins making it. I like all 4 teams that are racing for the wild card. Well, in my opinion, it's 5 because technically Tennessee hasn't clinched the AFC South yet. But I don't want to see – if there's one team that I at least want to see get in, it's Miami because I feel like, they might be the most vulnerable team. But you know what? Any team that plays the Kansas City Chiefs tough, you can't say that they suck unless they're the Raiders. So
that is true.
So, yeah, I think Miami is the one team that I don't want to get in. I want to see Indianapolis, Cleveland, and Baltimore get those wild card spots.
Yeah, that's definitely that's a fair argument. For me personally, I want to see Miami in there. I would love to see it. It's gonna be tough without Fitzmagic. I mean, Fitzmagic put on display his literal magic. I don't know how he threw a ball with his helmet literally all the way around his head like an owl. Literally, his helmet was like going 360. I don't know how he was able to get off that throw and then eventually kicked a game-winning field goal. In Miami, they're one step closer to making it. Dude, I like their team so much. Again, it's going to be tough, but I mean, if the Bills sit their starters, I think the Dolphins do have a chance. And I really hope they can. I hope Tua can, I hope Fitzmagic, passed his magic to Tua, and Tua has some playoff magic, I do want to see the Ravens. I wouldn't be mad if the Ravens got in. And I want to see the Browns especially. I feel so bad, dude. They literally, they had no wide receivers and they lose to the Jets. I want to see them in the playoffs, dude. And then, hey, we got, we got Rudolph and Garrett part 2.
Oh, that's gonna be so good. They actually put that game on my local listings. I was so happy, and I was so happy because I want to see it. And you know what? This is the perfect scenario for this is a imperfect scenario for the Browns. Beat the Steelers, you're automatically in. Lose to the Steelers, you need a lot of help.
Yeah, I mean, I wish we could have saw a battle for the title last week if the Colts won and the Browns won, but obviously they both lost. Or sorry, the Steelers won and the Browns lost to the Jets. So thanks a lot, Jets. It's a terrible win. But it's I'm hoping. I really want to see the Browns in the playoffs, dude. It's gonna break my heart if they don't.
It's funny because the New York Jets were literally 0-13, and not only did they fail, not only did they abandon Tank and literally gift wrap the number 1 pick over to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Not only did they do that, but Drew, they might have just ended 2 different playoff runs with those 2 wins. The Browns and the Rams have not clinched yet, and you know what? If they miss the postseason, you know who to blame.
Yeah, I mean, even Jets fans are mad at their recent success, dude. Come on. Like you said before, I do agree with your statement about the Rams because they've, like I've said all year, I've taken some heat for it. I said I think they're overrated. I think they need another offensive threat. I don't see them doing anything in the playoffs, especially with the recent injuries. I mean, it's gonna be. I mean, they literally had to sign Blake Bortles. So that's how you know it's bad. Yeah. If they get in, it's probably gonna be very tough to watch. I wouldn't be mad if the Cardinals get in. Not a Bears fan, so if they get in, they get in. I don't really care. And then I mean, I just really want to see the Browns and the Dolphins. If the Colts get in, I mean, I guess it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, who knows? This could be Philip Rivers' final game or final game today. If maybe he can make one last playoff run, who knows? I just want to see the Browns and Dolphins. That's all I gotta say.
It's sad for the Colts because they obviously need to win and have somebody lose. But you know why they're in that situation? It's pretty much because you go all the way back to week 1. And these same Jacksonville Jaguars, they lost to them. They lost to these same Jaguars. If they did not lose that game, they would have been in prime position to not only clinch the AFC South, but maybe ruin Tennessee's playoff hopes as well. Oh my gosh. The season really comes down to the Jacksonville Jaguars and the New York Jets of all teams. Because the Jets already did their part and Jacksonville just might have already done theirs 16 weeks ago. So who knows, man?
Bro, you could tell the Jaguars' path in the offseason, literally trading every single key piece of their team. I mean, the past few years, one playoff appearance, but like they traded the cornerstones of their franchise. So you could tell the path that they were tanking, get it? Path that they were tanking, before the season even started. And I don't know, man. I mean, it's tough, and the Colts they blew it. They really choked because they had the game in the bag. They had a playoff spot in the bag, and it just completely may have, just ruined their season.
Yeah, and they would have had the tiebreaker over the Steelers. So instead of, having a 3 seed or, maybe the 4 seed, but still, I mean, they would have the tiebreaker over the Steelers. I don't think they're going to lose to Houston, but they would have had the 3 seed in the division. Now they're fighting for a wild card, and they can still win the division, but there's so many possibilities for the Indianapolis Colts right now. But obviously, win is the first thing they got to do. And you know what? For them, well, they're the one team that hasn't done it yet this season.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very exciting to see how everything goes down today.
You know what? Let's go ahead and make those picks, man. I'm ready. Week 17. Let's put the excitement where the billing is and make these picks, man. I'm gonna start with Dolphins Bills.
Yeah, this one. I mean, it depends. It really does. If the Bills decide to rest their starters, which I really hope they do, because you don't want to see an injury on the final day of the season. I think the Dolphins, and they're motivated. The Dolphins have played over literally every single person's expectations. I didn't expect them to do well at all, and look at them right now. They're in a chance to make the playoffs, and I like them. I really do. But it depends. It really does. So I'm going to say this. If the Bills decide to rest their starters, I'm giving it to the Dolphins. If for some reason the Bills come out in full force with every single one of their starters playing, and it gets ugly real quick, I'm going to take the Bills. But I'm just gonna say right now the Bills are going to rest most of their starters, so I'm gonna pick the Dolphins. That's who I'm gonna pick. I want to see them in the playoffs. I don't care if my predictions today are absolutely terrible because I'm picking who I want. I'm taking the Dolphins.
Okay, I see how this is gonna go. It's tough to add a filter and sugarcoat, a pick because of resting starters. It's really tough, and I'm saying the same thing. Really, I mean, we don't know. I mean, teams don't usually say if they're going to do this or that 3 hours before kickoff. And it's just like it's tough. So I'm on that same train with you. If the Bills rest, I'm picking the Dolphins. If the Bills for some reason go full force, now the thing is, and this goes for the Steelers too. Both of these teams can flip flop between 3 and 2. So they still technically have something to play for, but I guess the 3 seed and the 2 seed doesn't mean too much to them anymore because, well, second seed doesn't get a first round bye anymore. I mean, that right only goes to the number 1 seed, and I guess that's a big factor into why they might rest their starters. They already said Ben Roethlisberger is not going to play.
Yeah.
So I guess the Steelers just gave up on getting the number 2 seed and getting an easier opponent, which in the AFC, I don't even know who's easy anymore. We don't even know. I mean, any of these teams, this conference is stacked. But like you said, if the Bills rest, I'm picking the Dolphins. If they don't, I'm picking the Bills. The Bills, healthy, they're a buzzsaw. And you know what? I think they're built to beat the Chiefs.
I wouldn't be mad at that assumption because their offense is really good. Everything is clicking right now. They're a really good team, and I think them and the Chiefs are definitely the 2 teams to beat in this entire playoff. I mean, every single team, NFC, AFC, Chiefs and the Bills, 2 teams to beat right now.
I just hope Josh Allen doesn't get the same slander as Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson has lost his first 2 playoff games, and he got roasted. For whatever reason, I don't know, because he's still very young, still has a very long career ahead of him, hopefully. And if Josh Allen loses in the wild card round, I just hope people don't torch him. I mean, be patient with him, man. Look at what he just turned the Buffalo Bills into, bro. Look at what he turned that franchise into.
Yeah.
I was about to say be quaint. A mixture of quiet and patient.
Hey, you just created a word. Use that now. From now on. Hey, you heard it here on top of the standings. Jotham has just created a word.
Wait, quaint. All right, let me move on to this. You wouldn't think the Bengals would do it again to the Ravens, do you? Ravens-Bengals.
It's really weird because the Bengals over the past few weeks have come alive for some reason. I mean, even, beating the Steelers, let alone, I mean, come on. The Bengals have a chance to do this. They really do. But, I mean, the Ravens also have, they're fun for a playoff spot. They really are. And that's why, I don't think the Bengals are going to do it to them this time. I do think the Ravens are going to take this one. They're motivated. I think they're going to come out firing. And I don't think this one's going to be close. I think as the betting line states, the Ravens are favored by 2 touchdowns. So I think it's going to be around that score of the Ravens winning by at the very least 14 points.
I'll say if Baltimore misses the playoffs, it's going to take a lot. Everybody's going to have to win, and they are going to have to lose to the Bengals. This is absolute. It's always a team from Ohio that gives the Ravens something. Remember back in 2017 when in 2018, I should say, when they beat the Browns to win the division and knock the Steelers out of postseason contention. It's always a team from Ohio they have to beat to get into the playoffs. I don't know what it is about the Bengals and the Browns, but you know what? It's like they're always somehow, some way in the Ravens' way, and it's always so fun to watch. it's always so fun to watch. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, hey, the Browns and the Ravens, they had a very classic matchup earlier this season. Can we have, another Ohio Classic?
Speaking of the Cleveland Browns, winning you're in against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Can they do it? Can they do it, Drew?
Yes, I'm taking the Browns. I think with no Big Ben, that's going to play a very key role. And Baker, I'm pretty sure that his wide receivers are back. I'm pretty sure they are, which will help a lot. With no wide receivers, it's tough. I can imagine how tough it is trying to find new targets who you just met like 2 hours before the game. Nonetheless, I'm going to take the Browns. I want to see him in the playoffs. I just want, dude. I like the Browns. I love the makeup of their team. They have so many really good players. Nick Chubb. I mean, not to mention Baker Mayfield and Jarvis Landry. But if we've seen how this thing goes. The Browns, they played well all season, and then in the bigger games, they take a lead and they can't control it. I am going to take the Browns, though. I want to see them in the playoffs, and they're going to beat the Steelers. Go Browns.
Yeah, we botched this pick earlier this season, but I'm not doing that crap again. I'm going with the Cleveland Browns, man. They need it. They absolutely need it, like SpongeBob in the tree dome, bro. I'm just like, I'm a part-time Browns fan right now because I really want to see them get in. They haven't made the postseason, but since before I was born, I want to see it for the first time with my own living two eyeballs, man. my eyeballs need Browns postseason football. Oh my gosh! If the Steelers do this to them, I think I'm gonna root against them for the first time, like full force this year.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! But you know what? No Big Ben, and they should be resting more key starters if they're gonna go on that path. This is a game that the Browns need. If they don't win this, they're gonna get clowned. Mason Rudolph, I hope he don't go Oklahoma State mode on him. 400 yards, 4 touchdowns off the bench. Oh man! And Cleveland's favored by 9.5. Would you believe that if we told you that they are favored 9.5 over the Steelers and not the other way around? I had never thought I'd see that in my life.
It's crazy.
Wow. All right, let's dive into a little bit of the meaningless games. Vikings Lions. You gonna stick true to your philosophy?
Dude, ever since, I don't know, was it like week 4, week 5, I have picked every single team that the Lions are facing. The Lions, I'm going to continue that, and I just hope for, a better season next season. I mean, that's been my philosophy before picking against the Lions, just hoping for a good season. I mean, I hope the Lions can find a good GM. I hope they can find a nice coach. I hope they can get some pieces, maybe, Devontae Smith. Nonetheless, tank for Devontae Smith. Who knows? This could be Matthew Stafford's last game. I hope not, but if it is, thank you. I'm going to stick true. I'm going to pick the Vikings. Lions, oh my gosh, I don't even want to talk about what the Buccaneers did to them. That was ugly. That was one of the worst defensive performances that I have ever witnessed in my entire life. Terrible. Terrible.
And you somehow watched the full game.
Yes, I don't know how I did it. I watched every single minute of the game, and it was hard. Their defense is so bad.
I salute you.
Thank you.
I salute. So yeah, I'm going to pick the Vikings. Another disappointing season for them, but they got young guys on the rise, including Justin Jefferson. I think he might have one last big game of the season up his sleeve. Hope the Vikings bust out the all whites. They need to do that more often. And yeah, I'm going to pick the Vikings. Really, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm sorry, but there's not too much reason to pick the Lions right now.
No, terrible team.
I hope the offseason is good. I hope the offseason is good.
You see they're targeting the Seahawks GM? I'd take it. I'm going to be honest with you. I'd take it.
Hey, anybody that can break the Detroit curse, I'm fine.
Me too.
I'm fine.
Me too. You know I am.
Yeah. Stronger together, man. It takes a team. Speaking of teams, we got a couple of, well, AFC East cupcakes.
Dang. I would have thought.
Yes, the Patriots. Yeah, the Patriots are cupcakes now.
Hey, I'm fine with them. I'm fine with them being cupcakes. Who cares? Are the Jets gonna do it again? I could see the Jets winning. I really could. I'm gonna be honest with you. I could see it happening. You know what? I'm gonna pick who I think. I'm gonna go all out. I'm not making accurate picks today. I'm taking the Jets. I don't care. The Jets. I said I wasn't gonna take them for the rest of the season, but you know what? I think it's. I was almost being nice to them. I was hoping they lost so they could get a higher pick. I'm gonna, just root against them today. You're gonna win. The Jets, you are going to win today. That's gonna be another terrible win that your fans are gonna hate you for forever. And Adam Gase's last game, I know Jets fans are, all around New York and all around the world are, rejoicing right now. Terrible team, and they're going to win today. The Jets are going to win it and make it 3 straight, and the Patriots are going to continue to, have a very, very tough season.
I have 3 words for you. It's about time that this man got fired. Well, we don't know. They said he's likely to get fired, which I don't even know why it's likely. That man should have been gone so long. He should have been gone before Matt Patricia, maybe.
I agree. I mean, he didn't win a game.
Like, bro. And now this man wants to try hard to keep his job and torture the Jets for one more. No, dude, you got to go. But you know what? Because it's your last game, and because the Patriots might be just as bad as you, and because you gave them a good fight the first time you met with Joe Flacco of all quarterbacks, I think the Jets will win too, man. I can't believe we're actually saying it. I can't believe, but after that 2-game winning streak, hey, you can't just look away from wins. You just can't.
And to be honest, I think they look better than I thought because they aren't terrible. I thought they were terrible, but after watching those 2 games, I know the Browns had no wide receivers, but they don't look as bad as I originally, imagined.
Yeah, speaking of imagination, could you imagine that the NFC East is actually coming down to the Dallas Cowboys, the Washington football team, and the New York Giants? But first, it starts with what I'm going to call round robin part 1, because the loser of this game is done, and the winner needs Washington to lose. Cowboys Giants, who's going to be TV watching?
This is weird. This is really weird. After I mean, I wouldn't call it I don't know what last week's Eagles Cowboys game was. It was weird. It wasn't like crazy. I mean, it kind of was a little bit crazy, but it wasn't like truly like exciting because it technically kind of was a blowout. I don't know what to call it. I don't know how I felt about that game. I just know that the Eagles are not good. But now we got 2 teams that, losing records, potentially about to make the playoffs.
With double-digit losses, may I mind you.
Dude, I mean, the Cowboys are 2-5 away, and the Giants are 2-5 at home. So,
terrible.
Dude, I don't even know. Because the Giants have kind of turned it on a little bit. I mean, they've beaten teams like the Seahawks somehow, and the Cowboys, they are also playing somewhat decent in these past few weeks. I am gonna take the Cowboys. I am gonna take them. I think. I mean, they looked pretty good against the Eagles. The Giants still pretty. I mean, they aren't great. Both teams aren't good. I'm gonna take the Cowboys though. I don't know. I think they will. I think they're motivated. I think they're more motivated, and probably a little bit better than the Giants.
I wouldn't be surprised if the New York Giants won this game.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised not one bit. I actually want the Giants to win this game.
Oh, me too. Me too. Who likes the Cowboys?
I prefer to see the Giants. I'm not because they're a better team in my eyes. I'm going to pick the Cowboys, but I just want to see the sheer mayhem on Twitter, on all social media platforms. I want to see the absolute insanity that is New York Giants are NFC East champions at 6-10. That is going to be too hilarious. But obviously, there's another piece that needs to fall. But we'll get to that later. I'm going to pick the Cowboys just because for whatever reason, their offense is woken up. And against a couple of not horrific defenses in the 49ers and the Eagles,
Yeah.
they put up 30 plus, so hey, I don't know at this point, but this is it for them. And you know what? Whoever shows up, shows up. This is the NFC East. Football at its finest. Yay. Yay. All right, this pick shouldn't take long. Falcons Bucks. I feel like it's going to be another trap game, just like it was in Atlanta. And you know what? Seeing how Atlanta scared Kansas City a little bit, which it's sad. The Falcons find so many ways to lose games. They found so many ways to lose games.
Yeah, especially against Tom Brady. I'm gonna take the Bucks. I mean, not that they. I mean, I don't know if they looked impressive against the Lions or they just played a terrible team, which they did. I don't know. I'm gonna take the Buccaneers. They have turned it up these past few weeks. They do look. They are pretty good. I mean, they aren't as good as I originally imagined. I think the pieces are still trying to click together. I am gonna take the Bucks. The Falcons. I hope this is Matt Ryan's last game.
Yeah, the Falcons are in a similar situation to the Lions. In need of a new head coach, in need of some roster overhaul, maybe at the quarterback position. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, Matt Ryan's got to go. He's blown too many games. This team has blown too many games. They need a fresh face. They need a new franchise quarterback, mind you. And you know what? Top 5 pick doesn't sound too bad. So I would encourage the Atlanta Falcons to lose this game because there's a lot of teams that are in the 5-10, 5-10, 4-11, you know what I'm saying, 6-9 range. So whoever loses, I mean, there's a lot of shuffling that can still go on in the draft board,
Yeah.
So, hey. Well, yeah, I'm going to pick the Buccaneers, man, because I said it that this was the 4-game stretch where they are basically warming up for the playoffs. They need to win all 4 of these games, not just for playoff sake, but just to ensure that they are a real playoff caliber team. Because obviously they have the record. The Bears can still make the playoffs at 8-8, so that says a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Bucks. They might rest their starters. I encourage them to because even if the Rams do find a way to beat the Cardinals, I mean, what's the difference between playing the Washington football team and, say, the Green Bay Packers or the Seattle Seahawks or the New Orleans Saints? You know what? That's a bit of a big difference. I mean, you don't want to underestimate the NFC East champion or whoever wins the NFC East, but you're definitely not going to look at them as seriously as
other
12
teams.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably not going to be as serious. But you know what? It's the NFL, and this season has been insane. It's been a lot of upsets. Who knows? I mean, but I expect the Bucks to win. Starters or no starters.
Yeah. I agree.
All right, this game actually got flexed. A Bears game actually got flexed. Not flexed out, but flexed in. They got flexed to the 325 slot to face the Green Bay Packers in a win-and-in situation. Yeah.
Dude, this is tough because I don't understand the Bears whatsoever. They started off the season undefeated, and I thought that undefeated, name given to them was like kind of it was. I did not think it was very lucky. They weren't good in my opinion. But over these past few weeks, ever since they've lost to the Lions, they've looked 10 times better than they did when they were undefeated. How does that even work? They start off the season undefeated, very, weak undefeated, lose a bunch of games, win some, and then lose to the Lions, and then somehow look better than they've had, and maybe the best that Mitchell Trubisky has ever played in his entire career. What is going on? Please tell me. Before I even make the pick, I want to know what is going on.
I think they woke up at least a little bit because I mean, I am foreign to seeing 30-point games from the Bears. That is foreign to me. But 40 is just absolutely just uncharted territory. That's a war zone. I I don't know what to say, Drew. I mean, this team has woken up apparently. The offense is actually looking somewhat compatible. I don't know what to say. Maybe it's because they're running the football more with David Montgomery. As I've said, he's a stud. Give him the rock, for crying out loud. Okay, so I guess they've done a little bit of that. Offensive line has improved. I guess we're gonna see if they're for real, because after beating the Texans and the Vikings and the Jaguars, it's still a little bit sus. But you know what? If they beat the Packers, if they beat the Green Bay Packers, and you know what? I don't expect the Packers to lay off because home field advantage is at stake for them. If they beat the Green Bay Packers at full strength with this team, I'm going to be scared. I'm going to be scared. Why? Because I don't know what to expect from them anymore. And you know what? If they beat the Packers, we might as well have just punched our ticket right back to Lambeau Field the very next week because obviously I don't know what to say, man. I really don't. But you know what? I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know anymore, bro.
I don't understand it. So after losing to the Lions, it's, get rid of Nagy, get rid of Trubisky. Now it's extend Trubisky, dude. That's hilarious to me. Do you think he should be extended? I hope so. I mean, I still don't think he's good. So I hope so.
I'll give him one more year. I would give him one more year. And if this carries over, okay, maybe we'll have something on our hands. And you know what? We get healthier. We do some good off-season signings, for crying out loud. Robert Quinn, dude, I am honestly shook because after that Lions loss, and no disrespect to the Lions, of course, I was, not exactly rooting against them in that game. But man, when you lost to the Lions like that, when you give a game to the Lions like that, you give a game. And come on, you gotta understand where I'm coming from, right? That was a gift. That was a gift.
Throwing the ball inside of your 5. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, dude. And just think of how different things would look if we would have won that game. We would have been clinched the spot. Arizona would literally be fighting for their playoff lives, which, I mean, they still are, but, it would be much less complicated, I would say.
I mean, who knows? What if they did win that game? Would they have gotten, all these blowout wins and impressive wins? Who knows?
I don't know. Let's just pick this game already because I just want to see it.
You know what? I never thought I'd do it, but I'm going to take the Bears. I'm going to be honest with you. They've looked very impressive. They've impressed me, and they've looked like, honestly, the NFL's best offense in these past, 3 weeks. So, I think they're going to give the Packers a run for their money, and I'm going to take them. I'm going to take them. Who would have thought?
I cannot believe I'm agreeing with you. I mean, not agreeing with you, but saying it with you. I can't believe we're both saying this. But you know what? The Packers have been dominant recently. They just mopped the Titans in the snow. But you know what? With Akeem Hicks back, they can stop the run this time. They have the ability to stop the run. I hope Jalen Johnson's all right. I hope he can come back eventually. I hope Chuck Pagano sends pressure to Aaron Rodgers because that's the one way we sent 4 3-man rushes the whole game last time, and Aaron Rodgers had all the time in the world. And you know what? Devontae Adams was killing us. I expect them to have him not check, but not have him go for 200 freaking yards and 3 touchdowns or something like that. But you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Bears because that Packers defense is still sus. We've been looking at this Packers defense like, oh, this Packers defense is so good, and then they let up in the postseason and just choke. So I'm gonna pick the Bears. I can't believe I'm saying this.
I can't either.
Wow, just miracles do happen. I do believe in miracles. Out my um, speaking of miracles, the Raiders were on the wrong side of it, and now they finished their season in Denver. Pretty meaningless unless you're talking draft stock.
Yeah, I've honestly been a believer in the Broncos. I feel like they definitely are better than their record says. Not much better, but I definitely think they can win these, pretty even matchups, if I'm being honest, because the Raiders, again, year after year, start off so well, start off so impressive, and then just, it's like a roller coaster. They go up, 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 and then all the way down. And last week was perfect example. Kick a potential game-winning field goal and then decide to literally rip Fitzmagic's helmet off and allow a deep ball like you're playing for the Browns or the Jets. With it's terrible. I mean, the Raiders' defense is very close to the Lions and being one of the worst in the league. And that's why I'm going to take the Broncos. I think that their offense is pretty good. Their defense is not bad either. And I'm going to take them. The Raiders have really nothing to play for at this point. They're just defeated.
Yeah, Drew Lock, you know what? He's shown signs of improvement. I hope he can be Denver's franchise quarterback. I hope he can beat Denver's franchise quarterback. I really do. Because I mean, they've shown promise, and you know what? They've been banged up all year. They've been in the same position as the Chargers. Injuries have killed both teams, and you know what? If they were fully healthy, I think they could be over 500. At least one of those teams, could be over 500 because, I mean, they're really good. We know Justin Herbert, but Drew Lock, he's still trying to get there. But you know what? I think this is the game where he solidifies his status as, you know what, give me a good chance next year. We'll get our guys healthy, and we'll see what can happen. I'm gonna pick the Broncos, man. The Raiders, at this point, just get a higher pick, man.
Exactly.
I mean, you literally have nothing to play for. Derek Carr has proven that he's not the problem. He's proven that he is not the problem. That defense is the problem, and you got to do something about that. You got to do something about that, Vegas. You got to do something. Golden Knights are busting out the gold jerseys. You guys better do something to accommodate for them and try to let the world know that Vegas is the hot spot for some sports. You got to do something, man.
Definitely.
You just move to Vegas to just carry the losing from Oakland.
Yeah, and losing in tough fashion as well.
Yeah. Speaking of tough fashions, Colts are in a pretty bad predicament, man. They got to beat the Jaguars, something that they are the only team on the Jaguar schedule that hasn't done it yet. Can they do it?
Dude, I don't know. Maybe the Jaguars have the Colts number. Who knows? If the Jaguars somehow win this, what is going on? Please let me know. I'm going to take the Colts, though. It's going to be very tough for them to get into the playoffs, but I think it all starts with a win over the Jaguars. Not much analysis should go into this game because it's just, an ugly matchup. That's why I'm going to take the Colts.
I don't see the Jaguars winning this game. I just don't. I'm sorry. I mean, you would think that the Colts would wake up this time, right? You would think. But I don't know. They haven't beaten Jacksonville in a long time. And, playoff lives on the line. Jacksonville already has clinched the number one pick. They're just basically playing spoiler right now. And you know what? I think Jaguars fans, if the Dolphins, Browns, or Ravens or Titans lose, I think one of those four franchises are going to have some gifts for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Duval, 1-15 on the way. I'm picking the Colts. I'm sorry. I don't see any way possible that the Colts lose this game. I can't imagine Jaguars beating the Colts again. No, it cannot happen.
Yeah, that would be so. That'd be embarrassing. I mean, they would have flat out ruined their season after being up double digits in the fourth quarter against the Steelers. Their entire season has just been deflating if they lose.
Yeah, Carson Wentz to Indianapolis. I don't know.
Hey, I called it a few weeks ago.
Hey, it's a big possibility. All right, another little kind of meaningless game. Chargers Chiefs.
Again, I don't think much analysis should go in. I know that Patrick Mahomes and their offense is definitely not playing, but I still I still think the Chiefs can be dangerous without Patrick Mahomes, and that's why I'm going to take him here. Chargers, really very, very impressive season. After starting Justin Herbert, you guys have looked very promising for the near future. So nothing to hang your heads on. You're playing the best team in the NFL.
Yeah, people have been talking about firing Anthony Lynn. What, bro? I mean, you can't, I mean, what he's trying his best with all these injuries and stuff. Now, if he's the main cause of the injuries because of training or something like that, then yeah, maybe you do need to fire him. But no, he's gotten you to the playoffs before, and it wasn't that long ago. And also, the Chargers. Well, they got to get healthy. No Derwin James. Bosa's been banged up. Defense has been banged up, and they've been playing some pretty close games. They just need to close them. They need to close them. And that's maybe why he's on the hot seat for some people.
Yeah, I will say I did think he was very questionable earlier in the season by he didn't want to start Justin Herbert. He flat out didn't. And after Justin Herbert had some very impressive games, he still didn't want to start him. That's the only thing I could think of.
I mean, what did you see in Tyrod Taylor? That's all I want to know.
Yeah.
That was terrible. That was terrible decision making. But you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Chargers. You know what? I feel like they're gonna abandon the tank, and without Patrick Mahomes this time, with Patrick Mahomes, they took him to overtime, and they were up double digits pretty much the whole game, and it took a while for the Chiefs to score a touchdown. And you know what? The Chiefs just went wire to wire, toe to toe with the Atlanta Falcons. I think Justin Herbert is gonna have a big day and finish the season strong.
That's fair.
So yeah, Chargers. I guess I'm picking the Chargers. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs backups win just because it's the Chiefs, but I'm picking the Chargers. I'm going to pick the Chargers. All right, let's actually go to Los Angeles this time. Cardinals, Rams. They both need this badly.
Yeah, no Jared Goff. I'm going to take the Cardinals. The Rams, very overrated in my opinion. I've said it all year. I really still and truly don't think they are that good. I still think they need another offensive weapon. They just very disappointing. I do think that they should be performing better, but I've been kind of excited watching the Cardinals this season. I don't have anything against the Cardinals. Kyler Murray, I've been very impressed by him. Somehow the Lions were able to beat the Cardinals, who could imagine, the Lions being able to beat the Bears, who make the playoffs, the Cardinals, who make the playoffs, the football team who makes the playoffs. I have no idea what the NFL is anymore. Nonetheless, I'm taking the Cardinals. I think they will be able to take this one.
Yeah, I'm taking Arizona too, man. I don't know. If John Wolford comes out here and absolutely kills it, maybe the Rams will have a chance. But you know what? That team is so inconsistent. And you know what? The last time these two teams met, they were both, they were both starting their downfall a little bit. We were both talking about these two teams. Oh, division championship on the line, baby. Oh, week 17 should be on Sunday Night Football. No. Very underwhelming winter for these two so far. I'm going to pick Arizona. I trust Kyler Murray, even though he's a bit banged up. I put my trust in Kyler Murray. Let's go. Boomer sooner. Let's go. Sticking with the NFC West, this game actually does mean something, at least for Seattle. The Seahawks and the 49ers, they produced some good games last season. So
I'm going to take the Seahawks. The 49ers just a terribly injury-ridden season. They've been literally injured the entire season. It's unfortunate, and that's why I'm going to take the Seahawks. Seahawks, they have looked a lot better in their past few weeks, and that's why I'm simply going to take them for that factor. They've looked good.
You know what? With George Kittle back and with the weapons that the 49ers have around the perimeter, I don't see a blowout happening. I see the 49ers putting up a good fight just for spoilers. But I just think Seattle, you wouldn't think they would rest their starters, would they? I mean, home field, they can still get home field advantage, man. I mean, if the dominoes fall your way, you can still get home field or at least jump the Packers in the standings.
Yeah, I don't see them resting. Like I said, I see teams like, the Chiefs and the Bills resting because their teams are too good to, be injured. Whereas the Seahawks, I mean, like you said, they're still playing for something. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Seahawks here, man. I just am. Russ may not be cooking like he was in September, but you know what? He's still somewhat in the kitchen. Somewhat. Another game that should be meaningless but has a lot of meaning, actually. The Saints and the Panthers. Same situation.
Panthers, they've been pretty mediocre this season. Not too good, not too bad. Saints, I still don't think they are the greatest team. I really don't. I've said it all season. I'm going to take them, though. I do think they'll take this one. The Panthers, I mean, just there.
That's perfect. That's 10 out of 10 analysis.
Thank you. I mean, hey, at least you shut out the Lions.
Hey,
at least you did that.
They shut out the Lions, but you know what? They're not going to shut out the Saints because, I mean, the team is too dangerous. Alvin Kamara, 6 TDs. Holy smokes. Plus a fine for those shoes, which is ridiculous. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take the Saints. Christian McCaffrey has had an injury-plagued season. Injuries have been terrible this year, especially early on in the season.
Mm-hmm.
It's been terrible. But I'm going to go ahead and take the Saints. You know what? I think that Michael Thomas move will pay off because they put him on IR to get him ready for the playoffs, and they weren't taking any chances, and you know what? It's paid off. I mean, they almost beat the Chiefs without him, so hey. Although you can say a lot of teams almost beat the Chiefs. All right. Division on the line for the Tennessee Titans against the Texans. Can they beat the Texans?
I think the Titans will be able to beat the Texans. I mean, I think most people should have known what was going to happen against Green Bay. Green Bay, I have to admit they are a good team. The Titans, they aren't there yet, but I do still think the Titans are good. I mean, when you have a team with Derrick Henry, I think you're going to be successful no matter what because you can run the ball. I think the Titans are good, and I think they should beat the Texans. 'Cause the Texans, I know you're high on Deshaun Watson. They aren't good. They just simply, flat out, aren't good.
It isn't his fault.
No, it's
I'll
not.
tell you that. It's not his fault. Still think he should have been a Bear, though. But it's whatever. Houston is a terrible franchise. I mean, they did him dirty. Traded Watkins. Just dumpster fire franchise. Oh, my gosh. All right, last game on the billing, buddy. Washington versus the Eagles on Sunday Night Football. Did you ever think, looking at this Week 17 slate, that this would be the game flexed to the Sunday night slot?
Dude, my arms just... I mean, I got goosebumps thinking about that right now. I mean, Washington with a chance to get into the playoffs. Dude, I like it. I really do like Washington. And I do want to talk about this real quick. I mean, I'm glad they got they got away from Dwayne Haskins because I know you and I have been not non-believers of him because I think going into the draft and him saying that he should have been picked higher, I was like, what? I mean, you weren't. I mean, not to like trash him, but like I just really did not see much potential in him as an NFL quarterback. I mean, I feel like he is a very ideal system quarterback. Really, nothing too special. And I mean, I think it was good they got rid of him. I mean, who knows if he'll be picked up? But I think that was for the best. And I mean, with him, they played so terrible. But without him, I mean, we've seen what Washington can do. I'm going to take Washington. I like Washington a lot. I want to see him in the playoffs so badly.
I have a bad feeling that the Eagles are going to win this game just for the heck of it. I have a bad feeling that they're going to win because it's a toss-up for me. Even with Alex Smith back, I don't know. I anticipate an ugly defensive shootout. I've said it a couple of times with the Lions and the Bears, but you know what? These are two teams that, well, their offenses aren't exactly, bona fide scorers.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think the Washington football team will become the first nameless playoff team ever. And the Philadelphia Eagles, who have a first name and a last name. Wow. The memes that are going to come out of this are insane.
I think it's funny now looking at just reporters. They don't even refer to them as a football team. It's the WFT. I want to see them in the playoffs. I think I forgot to add them to my wish list of teams I want to see in the playoffs, and this is one of them. This is definitely the football team, the Browns, and the Dolphins are the three teams that I want to see terribly bad in the playoffs.
It's crazy, but you know what? Week 17, I'm excited. Less than 2 hours away right now from where we're at recording this. I'm stoked. I am stoked. I want to see it. And you know what? Obviously, there's going to be some playoff games on Saturday. We're going to have to do something about that. Maybe a playoff special, right after the schedule's released and stuff like that, and the field is settled. But I'm excited, man. I want to see it. I want to see it, bro. Give me Browns. Give me Bears. Give me Cardinals. Give me Ravens. I want it.
Hey, that's fair. Those are teams that we don't usually see in the playoffs, and I want to see some wild stuff heading into just 2021. I don't want it to be as crazy as 2020 because no one does, but craziness, in sports is still approved.
Yeah, man. Let's go. Week 17. And one last thing, I just got an alert. I'm pretty sure you got it too because we're both ESPN heads. Carson Wentz wants out of Philly. Uh-oh. We're starting to heat up now. It's starting to get juicy now. Oh boy!
I called it.
Hey, you're one step closer to hitting the jackpot with that Carson Wentz in Indianapolis.
Yeah, or the Jets. Who knows?
Hey.
Or the 49ers.
Okay. Okay. We'll see about that. But yeah, that's an interesting development right there.
It is
very interesting. So Jalen Hurts, they didn't draft him in the second round for nothing. Hey, I'm here for it. Dual threat, let's go. Yeah. Dual threat. I like it. I love it. I want to shift your attention to college basketball because it's been weird, but it's been pretty entertaining in my eyes.
Not mine. It's been really odd. I'm honestly glad Top of the Standings is back because you want to know how many times my favorite teams won since we've been gone?
Like twice.
That is correct. That is correct because I was hoping that the Pistons could lose to the Celtics and Michigan State lost last night so I can come on the podcast and say how much this break has been terrible to me because hey, at least my teams in 2021 are undefeated. So, 2021 the Lions watch them win today. Watch the Lions win today and improve my record to 3-0 in 2021. I'd love it. Nonetheless, Michigan State, dude. I mean, I just want to talk about them. Since heading into conference season, they have looked terrible. I'm going to be honest with you. They've looked horrible until last night. They still didn't look up to par to what a usual Michigan State team looks like, but still they didn't. They played terrible against Northwestern, terrible against Minnesota. A little bit better against Wisconsin on Christmas Day, but they didn't look great. I think they need help at the point guard situation or at the point guard position. I mean, it's been rough. It really has. I hope they can get their stuff together and be the ideal and annual good Michigan State team, and I think they will. I just it's been rough.
Yeah, it's almost your worst nightmare because not only did Michigan State take this long to get first conference win, but Michigan is the only unbeaten team in conference. No, only unbeaten team in the Big Ten conference.
Overrated. Dude, who
automatic?
Who have they played? Please tell me, and then I may be open to consideration. But until they play teams like Duke, I mean, play better teams. I mean, Michigan State year in and year out have tough schedules. They play teams like Kentucky, they play teams like Kansas, they play teams like Duke, they play all the blue bloods. You got Michigan sitting pretty, beating teams like I don't know, Oakland University.
I mean, and they did go to overtime,
and they did. And hey, Oakland's good. I mean, it's that Michigan rivalry.
Oh my gosh, dude! You know what? I will say this: Michigan has a pretty tough schedule. They played UCF and they played Penn State and they beat Nebraska, Maryland. Bruh, I will admit that they haven't really played anybody yet. They haven't come close to a ranked team. Well, tonight we're gonna see because you know what? They play Northwestern, and more Big Ten teams are starting to get ranked. You know what? Minnesota's starting to take the little brown jug to the court. You feel me? And stuff's about to get interesting, bro.
I think Northwestern's really good. I mean, I think they are very good. I think teams like Iowa and Illinois, Rutgers as well, but teams like I don't know, Northwestern's good. I do think they are good. But come on, Michigan. Year in and year out, people think Michigan's so good. I mean, I remember last year before top of the standings was a thing, and in our newspaper group chat, everyone was like, "Oh, rank Michigan." I was the only one like, "No, they aren't good." Okay, sure, they beat teams like Gonzaga and North Carolina in Maui or whatever tournament they played, and those were like the first 3 games of the season. Rank them, play Louisville, get blown out.
Yeah, I remember that whole predicament. They went from unranked to number 4 so
terrible.
Quick.
Terrible.
I was like, whoa. I would understand maybe top 15, but they put them in the top 5 after. I was like, dang. But I know you got a kick out of it.
Dude, I just want to ask a question. Do you think Kentucky's gonna make the tournament?
I don't think they're gonna make it.
I don't either.
Because the SEC looks stronger, as they're getting weaker, as the Wildcats are getting weaker. This team is not the same Kentucky Wildcats team that we're used to seeing.
I don't know if you remember, but maybe in like 2014, 2013, they didn't even make the tournament. They made the NIT and they lost to George Washington.
Yeah, I remember seeing something about that. I mean, it's shocking, but yeah, that's a blue blood that's getting the blood knocked out of them.
Dude, that's what happens when you don't get, decent recruits. I mean, come on. Michigan State goes I'm not even going to say that because next year, Michigan State, I'm telling you, is going to be the best team in the country. Not to, toot my own horn, but come on. Michigan State, they got some 5 stars. They got the number 1 player in the country. Ooh.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I'm interested to see what this kid is all about. One last thing. Is it just me? Or was Texas smashing Kansas so satisfying?
That is odd. I mean, Texas they're just. I mean, I feel like they're always on the cusp. I don't think they're great. I don't think they're bad. But year in and year out, they're always going to have a pretty competitive team. I mean, I don't think Kansas is that great either. I mean, look at their wins. Just they've also had some very close wins as well. I just don't. They aren't great.
Yeah, I saw it coming eventually, but dang, they got the brakes beat off of them. Longhorn. That was absolute demolition. Oh my goodness. I ain't never seen Kansas get beat that bad at home. That was nasty.
Yeah.
Nasty.
Yeah.
You know what? I got my Orlando Magic jersey on right now, so let's go ahead and talk some NBA basketball. Under your discretion, of course.
Hey, it's all right. I know until Friday, the Pistons had not won a game, and that's fine because I've enjoyed watching players like Jeremy Grant and Josh Jackson go absolutely. I mean, those are two steals, and even the Pistons' 19th pick, Sadiq Bey, and 16th or 15th pick, Isaiah Stewart, all getting time. Isaiah Stewart, undersized center, also very underrated. Very, very good player. Sadiq Bey, very good player, averaging 9 points as a rookie in his first 5 games. Very impressive. He's good, and I'm excited. I know that the Pistons have not been great, but like I said, Jeremy Grant, he left the Nuggets because he wanted to have his own team. This is his team. That dude can play. I don't know how many he's averaging at this moment, but I know he's averaging probably around like 20. Dude he's good. And Josh Jackson, great player in college basketball, played for Kansas. Very, very good player. Hasn't translated to the NBA until now. Josh Jackson, steal of a signing. I really like what the Pistons are doing. And as for the rest of the NBA, I really am glad to see players like John Wall and Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving all come back to how they were pre-injury.
Yes, dude. It's amazing to see. And I mean, their teams aren't exactly blowing the roof off of the league yet. But you know what? It's great to see them back on the court. Great to see them being competitive again. John Wall, he's definitely got a tough situation on his hands, especially with his strip club heavy teammate in James Harden. I want James Harden to go, but at the same time, I don't want him to go where he wants to go.
I honestly, that makes sense to me because I do think that James Harden needs a change of scenery. I think it would be fun seeing him in a different uniform, just throwing up threes the entire game, step backs. I mean, I think James Harden's very underrated. Still, I feel like he's a very underrated scorer in that sense. I think he definitely should go to a different place because John Wall on these Rockets, this looks like his team. Him and Christian Wood. Dude, they look good. Christian Wood is averaging probably like 23, 24. I'm so sad that the Pistons didn't re-sign him. I mean, I get that Christian Wood wanted to win, and he deserves it because the Pistons were the only team to really give him a chance. And look what happened. This dude, he can play.
Yeah, that was sad too. But man, how about the Phoenix Suns?
Yeah.
Look, I told you, bro. Chris Paul was gonna make that team significantly better. So He was gonna make that team better of some sorts. Now it's only 6 games in. I know I'm not gonna get too hyped because I know some of these teams have histories of having losing streaks mid-season.
Yeah, what happened last season?
But you know what? Hey, some things can be different. And you know what? This Phoenix Suns team is looking pretty good. That backcourt of Paul and Booker, that's probably the most slept on backcourt duo in the league because that's just so good. That is so good.
It offers two different things. I mean, you have obviously a primary shooter and scorer in Devin Booker, but alongside with him you get Chris Paul, who is a facilitator who can make key plays, a playmaker, and down the stretch make clutch baskets, which he did the other night against the Nuggets. Chris Paul, very, very almost fantastic addition to the Suns roster. It's gonna win. He's gonna win them a lot of games. A very nice piece to add alongside Devin Booker. This team is good, and I do think they will make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Well, they definitely got a good head start, tied for the best record in the league with, oh my goodness, the Philadelphia 76ers.
Which is kind of surprising because they kind of started off a little weak, but hey, if Ben Simmons is making threes, oh no, it's gonna be very scary.
Oh my gosh! You know what? If he can get a consistent jumper, and we can say if players get consistent jumpers, this, and that will happen. But man,
or maybe he'll be traded for James Harden. Am I right?
Oh my gosh! If he goes to the Sixers, I'm done. I'm done, bro. I don't want to see him go to the Sixers or the Nets. I do not.
I would love to see him on the Nets, though. I'm going to be honest with you.
Oh no, KD and Kyrie is enough for me.
And DeAndre Jordan, dude. Imagine if that team, if James Harden does go there, every single team, every single player. Imagine if they were in their primes. Oh my gosh, that team would be undefeated.
Boy. Holy crap! Yeah, it's going to take a bad night from all four of them to lose the game.
Yeah,
really. But other teams that I really noticed that are, improving. How about the Cleveland Cavs and the Atlanta Hawks? Maybe even the New York Knicks. You know what I'm saying? The Pelicans, the Kings. We're getting some fresh new faces, in these standings a little bit on the win column.
Yeah, I was very surprised by the Cavs. I mean, it's mostly their backcourt because I think every single person knows what they're getting out of Andre Drummond and JaVale McGee. There's literally nothing you can expect from them other than, getting inside the paint and, rebounding, and you're going to get little to no shooting with either of them. I mean, we saw it last night. JaVale McGee completely airballed a turnaround jumper in the paint. I mean, at least he's in Cleveland where he has the freedom to do that. Imagine if he did that with LeBron on the other side of the court. Dude would get crucified. Nonetheless, I mean, Garland and Sexton, both very good players and very key players. I didn't know, because I feel like both of those players are two true point guards. I didn't understand why they drafted point guards in back-to-back drafts. Nonetheless, I think Darius Garland, Colin Sexton, good two key young players for the Cavs. I do think they're going to be good. As for the Knicks, I feel like they're good. Julius Randle has played very, very well. I think he's definitely, if they want to be successful, they got to keep him. He's got to be the star of the team.
Yeah, and just as there are some new teams coming on the spot, there's going to have to be some teams that give up that spotlight. And there's been some pretty underwhelming starts. I mean, the Heat, they're 2-3. The Raptors are 1-4. The Nuggets are 1-4. The Mavericks are 2-3. Even though they blasted the Clippers by 50+.
And who would have thought that the Wizards would look like the worst team in the league? I feel bad for Bradley Beal because that dude, if we're being honest, has to be top 15 in the league, at least, because he's an all-around fantastic player. I don't know how he didn't make the All-Star game the other year, but nonetheless, and in Washington, man, at least, the football team has the chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah, at least he's got something going for him. But yeah, that is absolutely sad, man. Bradley Beal, I feel for you, man. The Magic fan, I feel for you, man. All right, dude, let's talk about MVPs and LVPs. Who is your MVP?
This one was kind of tough. As much as I hate to say, it's got to be Justin Fields, right? I mean, that dude, he went off against Clemson. I was going to pick, maybe the entire Ohio State roster because they did surprise me. They really did. But after taking that hard hit, Justin Fields just went off, and there isn't much else to say. I'm not an Ohio State fan. This was tough for me to say, but you got to be honest. You got to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah, and that hit might be a reason why my mom doesn't let me play football.
He must have broken a rib. I don't know how he did. His body literally contorted inside out.
Oh my goodness, that hit looked vicious, bro. I mean, full speed, crown of the helmet to the rib kick. Not even to your stomach. I mean, to the. Oh my goodness! And after he threw that touchdown pass, he still felt it. It was like, oh, but man, you know what? 6 TDs.
Not too shabby.
not bad at all. Not bad at all, man. I gotta say, my MVP is the Texas Longhorns, both their football team and their basketball team. Why the football team? Well, because they sent off Sam Ehlinger in a great fashion, even though he got a little bit hurt. The dudes backed him up, and you know what? That's what I love to see. And you know what? I've never had that much fun watching a blowout because there were some highlights. There were some garbage time highlights that came out of that, and it was pretty entertaining. They definitely had a lot of fun in the Alamo Bowl. And you know what? Another thing is that I got a kick out of the fact that a coach could win the Alamo Bowl by 30 points and still get fired.
Yeah.
So, congratulations to Tom Herman for making that happen. I've never seen that happen. You win a bowl game by 30 plus, you get fired. That is tough. He must have. Oh man. See, that's what expectations does for you. That's what expectations do for you.
Yeah.
You don't meet up. And then I also got to give it to their basketball team for smoking Kansas. That was so satisfying. In the Big 12, I don't like Kansas. I don't like Kansas, bro. I really don't.
Yeah.
They win too much, overrated most of the time. And they got their butts handed to them. They went to they got taken to the Longhorn Steakhouse. So yeah, that's my MVP. Texas Longhorns football and basketball teams. I love it. All right, let's get to these lowly LVPs. Who's yours?
I felt like there could have been a lot this week. I really do. But last potential game for Adam Gase, I'm going to take him. But also the Jets, because the Jets, they had probably 2 of the worst wins of all time. Who would have thought? How can you have a bad win? Well, the Jets found a way, and they completely lost the battle for the first pick in beating 2 potential playoff teams. Why? I mean, that proves to you that players, as much as they say they don't tank, they really play, they go in each week and they battled to the end. And that's, I guess, what the Jets did, but still they're going to miss out on getting a potential, franchise changing player and, Trevor Lawrence. And then Adam Gase, I don't think we need to really talk about what he's done with the Jets. Since that introduction press conference where his eyes were literally popping out of his head, I was like, oh, this is bad for the Jets. Their franchise is not going to do anything with Adam Gase. Adam Gase coming from the Dolphins, who had literally no success. Good luck, Adam Gase. If whoever hires you, why?
Good luck.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that some coaches do such a bad job that they shouldn't get another chance. But Adam Gase has had 2 opportunities in the same division and with similar situations, and he's folded. I mean, look at what Ryan Tannehill. I mean, not even just Ryan Tannehill. Look at what the Dolphins organization became without him. The New York Jets. I don't know. They could do something. I mean, look at the turnaround that the Dolphins had. We thought they were going to be tanking for another high pick this year, but you know what? Not only are they competitive, they're going to get a top 5 pick from Houston, maybe because of that Laramie Tunsil trade. They're gonna get a top 5 pick of some. Oh my gosh, the Dolphins are going to be scary, and people don't even know it.
I like
they don't
it.
even know it.
I like
okay?
it.
Okay, the Miami Dolphins don't even know it. But you know what? You know who they had that? Adam Gase for making it so bad and realizing that they don't need him and they are trash with him, getting rid of him, shipping him to New York, beating up on the Jets because, man, Dolphins on the rise. Maybe the Jets can join. Maybe the Jets can join the exclusive Adam Gase leaves. Team becomes good club in the near future. Maybe. We'll see. But my LVP has to go to Dabo Swinney. My LVP goes to Dabo Swinney for being all bark and no bite in the Sugar Bowl. It wasn't sweet with the Buckeyes, man. My man's Joe was cooking up them. You remember when we was in class and he brought Buckeye food. I think his mom made Buckeye treats in like literally in the shape of Brutus Buckeye's head, and those are actual snacks. I think they are actually called Buckeyes. I'll have to ask them. But bro, that's what Dabo Swinney was trying to cook up in the press conferences. But man, he left the spices back at Clemson, South Carolina, because he sure got Big Easy'd. I mean, that was bad. He got meaned. It got to the point where LeBron James was on your head. And when LeBron James is on your head and it's outside of the sport of basketball, you know something is wrong.
Bro, LeBron could have been a starting tight end for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Who knows if he chose football? It was Dabo Swinney, and then calling them the 11th best team. Yikes!
Oh my goodness! Imagine if somebody actually asked him at the press conference, "What are you ranking them now? What are you ranking them now, Dabo? Ranking them what, number 10?" Yo, that is crazy, man. So yeah, Dabo Swinney has earned my LVP. Well, yeah, let's get to some trivia. Because you had something for us. Was it about the NBA?
Yeah, it was, and this wasn't. It's kind of ironic now, but which team has the longest active losing streak in the playoffs? You got an answer?
Is it the Minnesota No, the Timberwolves. They got one against Houston. The Phoenix Suns?
No, and like I said, it's kind of ironic because until Friday, the Pistons hadn't won a game, and that's exactly what they've done in the last 14 playoff appearances. Their last win came in 2008, and since they have not won one game, they've gotten swept multiple times. So the Pistons with 14 straight losses in the playoffs.
That's 3 sweeps, man. Oh man, that's 3 sweeps. Yeah. Oh boy. Wow, I don't know what to say about that.
It's because they traded that was the last season that Chauncey Billups was a part of the Pistons, traded him for AI, and then you saw how far downhill the Pistons went after getting Allen Iverson.
That is so weird. Oh, that is beyond weird. I mean, just imagine Allen Iverson in his prime on all the teams he's been on.
Dude, like I've said this before, but the Pistons are like the team that I wouldn't say washed up, greats go to, but a lot of greats that are no longer as good as they used to be, like, Blake Griffin, Derrick Rose, Tracy McGrady, Allen Iverson. The list goes on. Those are all the players who have played in Detroit past their primes.
Wow, that's insane. Yeah, so basically, Detroit, the Pistons are the retirement home of
just about to say that. I was just about to say that.
Wow, dude. Well, since we're talking so much about history, I guess I'll give one to you. And you can say this is personal. What was the first playoff game that was played after I was born?
When were you born? Hey, the fans want to know. That's kind of a vague question.
I was born on January 11th, 2003.
Okay,
which
so
was a
this is tough. This is obviously NFL playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I don't know who they played, but I'm guessing one of the teams has to be the Patriots. That's what I'm guessing. Don't know at all.
Wow. Okay. Well, I obviously did some extensive research on that. I go crazy with the NFL trivia questions.
Yep, as usual.
Very, very crazy. And obviously I hit the personal button on that one. I went real personal. A lot of people didn't know I was born on 1/11/03. I should make that a rap lyric one day. But yeah, dude. Again, what was the first NFL playoff game that was played after I was born? Yeah, that's gonna be something interesting to reveal, man. I'm excited.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'll give you a little foreshadowing. Maybe these two teams are gonna meet again in the postseason.
Okay, so not the Patriots. Nice.
Yeah, but hey, there's a lot of possibilities, though.
There is
A lot of possibilities. But you know what, man? We talked about a lot. It's good to be back. January Jotham, you get to see it for the first time. But you know what? I'm not alone.
No, you aren't. I mean, hey, this is preparing to be a crazy January. I mean, and crazy. I mean, who knows what the year is going to bring? But hey, we got NBA, we got college basketball, we got playoff NFL football, we got college football playoff. Who knows what could happen? What craziness could happen in these next few weeks? Who knows?
Yeah, and NHL coming back soon too. You know, yeah. I mean, hey, and I'm gonna be sure to cop my Hurricanes jersey next week. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's go Carolina.
hey, I like it. I need to pull out my potential captain Dylan Larkin, because then the Red Wings do not have a captain. So this year they are going to be naming one. Maybe I can add a C to my Dylan Larkin jersey. Who knows?
I like it.
Yeah, but hey, like you've said, we have talked about a lot, and we'll same time next week, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Same time next week. That's actually gonna be the last episode the day before my birthday. So yeah, I'm gonna have a jam-packed birthday. National championship on my birthday, the day before NFL, divisional round. Football is pretty much a staple, for my, around my birthday time. So, why not have fun with it? But you know what? With other sports coming around, I might have to, share some slice of the pie.
Exactly.
But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the podcast, this was episode number 21. 21 episodes already. Yeah, we are like that. This is really amazing. But you know what? If you guys enjoyed the podcast, give us that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or whatever you're using to, listen to Top of the Standings. Give us a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube if you're watching there. And obviously follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, the big three on social media. We'll see you guys for episode 22 next week. And for all the sports, I say cheers. Peace.